My message to the star galaxies and the people who talk about things like that. There's nothing wrong with it, because all you're doing is following another bigger pattern. And you have to understand that if you're not looking at something and just checking out signs, symbols, and shapes, whether they're letters and numbers, and you're putting them into words, now you're looking into a bigger pattern. And I can honestly tell you that if you can contact those beings, then what you need to do is take the things that I'm saying about our letters and numbers, speak them to them, and let them translate them. And in the meanwhile, when you start talking about anything that goes on with life on this planet, you don't talk about your opinion. You talk about what you know helps our surface areas and our soils and our livingness and our environment. That's what you talk about. You keep things along the lines of what makes things better, and you quit talking about the problems about war. Even if it's them talking about their planetary wars, even if it's them talking about their whatever things like that, you listen to their words and translate them how they will explain them to you, how you can translate them into our form of words. You find the inconsistencies in them and you fix them little by little through even the planetary systems. But instead of worrying about big major things like that, let's do it within ourselves and our people and our families right now. We can easily by talking the word, speaking the word correctly. And through the translations of everyone's different languages, we've lost the meaning of what we were trying to find, like the true love of humanity for each other, compassion for the environment and the world we live in. That's literally what we're looking for, and we want to understand it, and we're all looking for it through our individual selves. Whether we're a human on Earth, a planetary being, earthling, or we look at ourselves as a cosmic star seed, it doesn't matter. We're all the same exact thing, and you have to understand that, because if you're using soil to walk around as a body, then I'm sorry that you are still a star seed, a spiritual being, a physical matter person. You're all those things. So you can't blame one person for not believing how you explain it, because that's once again lost in translation. Just through words, we make brain patterns that turn into what our brain words make those things. If you know what I'm saying, I hope so. So instead of saying a guy or a big guy with a red jacket, or once upon a time this guy went here and blah 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 all the way to the end and happily ever after, or and it was devastation. Those things are like big picture words in your head of time. And when you see those bigger patterns, just like other people see cosmic patterns, just some people see past cosmic patterns, and some people talk about the future, they're all right here in front of you, and you can always see them, and they always will check out, because math can actually work that way, forward and backwards. Math is mother in a number sense, when it's num. Now think about the opposite of num, N-U-M-B, or just N-U-M, num, and then bodies of energy reoccurring, numbers. Now turn it backwards and say man, M-A-N, instead of N-U-M, M-A-N. And you say man. Now manager, fourth, father, first, force, fire, that kind of stuff. Things that come in the future with energy applied. The apple, an atom, all these kind of things, okay? These are patterns that you can't not see, and they're in everything. Everything, every religion, every book, every story, every cartoon. No matter who made the story, these patterns will always play out through math. Because that's mother. That was always here before matter, but that was also myth. That is also myrrh, which is like miracle matter. If you took the idea of miracles becoming true, which life itself is a miracle, if a miracle were to be able to come true, which it can, and seeds grow from soil, which we could say is earth with water, which would then be moisture. Like moisture is matter moving into something. It's moving on into substance plus energy reoccurring, moisture, or moist unit now reoccurring, because we're expressing what that unit is, moisture. Anyway, but if we say things like that and talk about what myrrh sort of means, just miracle itself is like mother, but where the invisible would be planted, the seeds of your mind would be planted, the mind, the mother, the Maya, all this kind of stuff. Like Maya now turns into physical, the mother of physical earth, or Gaia, some people say the mother of physical earth, or planetary matter, and we have different expressions for them, and they make sense. But people get so lost in their translation of it. Like when we say lost in translation, it's not just different languages, it's not just dialects, and it's not just ancient text that we're trying to translate. It's each other, and it's ourselves we're trying to translate. Now, I'm not trying to get too deep or confusing, but it always has been confusing, and I'm trying to break that, because it's all the same thing, just told from a different place. And when you really truly take it in deeply and think about it, and not just saying, I think about everything, yeah, I do, but like really thinking about it deeply, you understand that it's always you trying to express that you want love and need love and understand that everyone else does, but can't explain it. And maybe you lost some of those wavelengths on the way, but they're all there inside everything. Every living being wants to live, at least, and that's love itself. Just ongoing and being living is love. Like love is spelled like live because it's a past tense of live and love. Like if you live in love, you love what is here, what is lived before you, and you love what is living now, and you let live. That's literally what love means. And if you can't see it right in front of you as a pattern that can't be broken, that never will be broken, like the song that doesn't end. It goes on and on, my friend. It does. And it can change if we start saying different words and meaning it, and caring about each other and really meaning it. Not just your friends and family that you don't really care about unless they agree with you. Like everybody the way they are, and now working on individuals as what we're being. Because what we represent ourselves as becomes the world around us, because we start associating with it. And if we lose it, we stay to ourselves and stay with what we have. If we start loving what we see around us, we start becoming a part of it. If we see inconsistencies that like keep us from staying or working together, we work on them if we want to stay around each other, or we agree or at least talk about them before we just hate each other. And we don't go so far that we don't even let each other exist because we don't want to be bothered with their ways of interpreting things, of translation, because it's all just the same thing. And when you get it, you can truly get it. And it doesn't need words to convince you of it, because there's nothing to be convinced of. You're doing it too. If you're alive and you notice that you're alive, you want to be here. You don't want to necessarily go kill everybody else that disagrees with you in those words, but you want something. And you find something that you agree with, and you go and you do it. No matter how toxic or harmful it is to other people, then you start taking that in and being like, do I want that to be done to me and people I care about? Now I care about everybody, so why would I do any of this toxic, violent, inhumane stuff? Then you truly know what someone means without having to be explained. So that is what I would say to everybody who goes to the lengths of talking about star clusters and those beings, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then when people get into your astrological signs and cosmology and cosmetology and all this kind of stuff, like trying to make yourself beautiful, and now getting into witch spells and getting into trying to make people fall in love with you, or even trying to convince people of your idea, they're the same thing, just in different forms. We're all wanting the same thing. We all want to be justified in our belief system, but we may not say that, and we may have given up on that, but deep down in everyone it's rooted. That's what you have ancestors for, because they rooted that in you. And you have descendants because you're supposed to root something new in them. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say for now. Peace from every star cluster and from every galaxy that's ever been created, all the way to your heart and soul, which is you, which is me, which is us living this thing together. Peace, and God bless.